you were on the court at the time. You described the play when Jimmy got hurt, and as you mentioned, he's such a sort of tough, durable guy. What was your sort of immediate reaction to the sight of him being down like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's something you hadn't seen before. Usually you expect him to get up, and I haven't talked to him since the game, but you never like to see a situation like that, especially somebody as tough as he is. And you're praying for the best, obviously, with scans and all that, and we'll figure it out, but hopefully he's all right.
Jimmy Butler left the Warriors game Monday night against the Heat midway through the third quarter with a right knee injury that we now know is a torn ACL.
Devastating. I think it means they go home in the first round. Yeah, that's just what I see.
But nobody wants to go through rehab, especially at the age of 36. And I know he reminded the media that he's not old. But at this age, it's like, damn, what happens next?
It's just too much for the Golden State Warriors to overcome without the services of Jimmy Butler. They make the playoffs in all likelihood still, might squeeze in there, if not the play-in. But after that, they're going home.
Yeah.
Last night, something tragic happened in the NBA. One of the most clutch and respected players within the league, Jimmy Butler, went down with a season-ending ACL tear. Is this the last we've seen of Jimmy Buckets? Not necessarily, but if we've learned anything throughout NBA history, it's that when a player at the age of 36 has an injury of this magnitude, there is always a sharp decline in his performance and production when he eventually returns to the court. As far as this season, sadly, this was not a loss that the Warriors could afford. As things currently stand, Golden State is the 8th seed in the Western Conference, with the Blazers and the suddenly rejuvenated LA Clippers nipping at their heels. Now they're without their second leading scorer, with some of their role players, like Jonathan Kuminga, being at the center of trade discussions. Sure, it might seem like there's always a chance that the Warriors can make a star acquisition through a trade to resurrect their chances. But unfortunately, they just lost one of their potential trade assets in Jimmy Butler, so their options are now extremely limited. The one major bright spot of this team is obviously the greatest player in their franchise's history, Steph Curry, who despite being on the verge of turning 38 years old, is still performing at an elite level, leading the NBA in three-pointers made and averaging 27 points per game while maintaining his usual efficiency standards. But the brutal truth is, Steph alone isn't enough, as the near 36-year-old Draymond Green looks like he's a shell of what he once was. If you've been following my channel for many years, you'll know that I've always been reluctant to write these Warriors off. Despite various YouTubers and mainstream media members periodically declaring the Warriors era to be over, I have always stood my ground, as I could still envision ways that they could remain as legitimate title threats. Even last year, before injuries again ruined things, they looked incredibly promising, as they were extremely hot heading into that postseason, and even managed to upset the second-seeded Houston Rockets. But that all feels like distant history at this point, as the roster is now in shambles, with seemingly no light at the end of the tunnel. Even I now have to acknowledge that they're at the end of their rope. Stick a fork in it, because this team is done. So with that being said, what now? Do the Warriors just accept the fact that they're slowly and painfully fading into obscurity? The reality is, every franchise is forced into a rebuild at one point or another. But the bigger question is, what does this mean for Steph Curry? Thanks to Steph's conditioning, ball handling, and ageless shooting touch, he's been able to remain effective and extremely lethal. And there's no question in my mind that if he was in a more ideal situation with a better supporting cast, he could still be competing for championships for the foreseeable future. So Steph has to ask himself, how does he want to end his NBA career? Yeah, he has a significant amount of time left on his contract with the Warriors, but if he was to request a trade after everything he's done for this franchise, I would really have a hard time seeing the Warriors not honor that request. And honestly, I even think the Bay Area fan base would understand. Steph has already immortalized his legacy as a Golden State Warrior, and will always be cherished by Northern California. So I could see the fans hesitantly giving Steph their blessing to compete for championships elsewhere, considering the few remaining elite years that he's got left. So ultimately, I think this leaves the decision exclusively in Steph Curry's hands. Should he decide to end his career with 4 championship rings, accepting his current standing among the NBA's greatest, while being able to say that he always remained loyal to the Golden State Warriors? Or should he take his chance with another NBA contender, potentially winning a 5th or even 6th championship ring, while finally establishing himself as the greatest point guard in NBA history, and maybe even being recognized as a greater player than his biggest rival, LeBron James? Neither option seems like the wrong answer if you ask me. Both situations seem like an opportunity for Steph to do something incredibly special. The only question is, what does he truly want? Because unfortunately, the possibility of having the best of both worlds in Golden State is completely disappearing before his very eyes. Should Steph Curry ask to be traded elsewhere, maybe even somewhere specifically? Or should he hunker down and stick with the Warriors to the very end, despite the fact that tougher days appear to be on the horizon? I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks to all the members for supporting my channel, and thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.